Hey guys, Katy Huller here with Kids Can Read and Write. Today I want to talk about how to help your kids spell words with N ending blends. You might notice when they try to spell went and they sound it out and that they end up like that. Spelling wet instead. It's really common for that N to get overlooked and forgotten. Okay, it should be went like that. But because when you sound out went as a kid, went, you don't really hear that N all of the time. It can be so quiet, kids don't really know it's there. So they're sounding out the word went. And you hear how the T is louder than the N? That's why a lot of times they don't hear it and they just end up putting that T instead. Let's say they're writing send, like you send something. They might be sounding it out, and they hear the duh, but they don't hear that N again. So if you're noticing that your child is spelling like this and that N is getting left out, here's what I want you to do to help them fix it. Because really spelling issues are more like hearing issues or not knowing tricks. But the words we're going to go over today don't have tricks. They just might not be heard correctly. So you always want to try to fix the hearing, meaning you want to help your child hear how the words are actually spelled when they're misspelling them. Because anytime a child misspells words, they're giving you really important information. They're showing you how they hear the word. And that's really important for you to listen to and pay attention to so that you can help them correct it. So let's go back to the word send, like send me a letter, or went. How are you going to help them fix that? So let's start with send. If they're writing send and they're going and they're putting this, you need to slow them down and go, oh, first after they write this, go look what you wrote. You have ed, said. Now that's not how we spell I said something, but that's what it says. Ed, said. You want the word, and this is how you tell them, you want it to say and. Do you see how I stopped on that and just held it? That's how you help your kids start hearing it. You say, this is ed, said, or better yet, have them sound it out, see what it says, and you want it to say, and you can point to the letters, and. What needs to go here? So you help them see it and hear it, and now fix it. And. What would go here? And. What would go here? Duh. And if they're having trouble with flipping B's and D's, make sure you're also showing them D's have daddy's face first, and then let him climb up his ladder. Also, when they're practicing spelling, make sure you're working on that handwriting too. Getting those short letters short, tall letters twice as tall. That's a really important thing to work on at the same time. All right, so let's try that again. Let's say this time they're spelling went. Went. We went to the store. And they start spelling it and they go and they end up writing it like that. What's the first thing you do? You ask them, what does yours say? Or you tell them, good job, what does yours say? Don't forget the praise. I almost forgot. Don't forget the praise. What does yours say? Have them sound it out. Wet. Oh no, yours says wet, like the dog got wet in the rain. how do we make wet turn into w-ent? And when you do it, point to it. W-ent. What would go there? Do you see how once you take out all the confusion, it's easy to fix, and as long as you're presenting it happily and not like, that's wrong, no, you left out a letter, no, it's not wet, right? As long as you leave out the negativity and just add the positive, helpful nature, kids are usually happy to work with you. It's when you start bristling, showing agitation, getting a little frustrated, telling them they're wrong, that's usually when they don't want to work with you. So make sure as you're working with your child that you're keeping it happy, positive, uplifting, full of praise. You always say, oh, good job, you got what-et. That's super close. How would you make it say what-ent? And really help them hear, oh, I know what it is. And you'll see them light up when they realize, I need an N here. And then you say, okay, now see what it says. Went, went, went. And you say, great job, you did it. You turned wet into went. And if you want, you can say, now how would you turn went back into wet if you wanted to? And you can play with the words and see if they're understanding the code. All right, so let's try another. How about bench? Well, that one has a trick in it. So I'll bring in a trick in this one. So I said we weren't going to do other tricks, but we'll do one because I already said it. So bench. So let's say they're spelling the word bench. We sat on a bench. And remember to help them with that ba. If they put the daddy's face first, remind them the ba, 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 back goes first. Then curl up the legs for a B. Bench. Now, if they don't hear that N again, you'll see they'll go straight to the ch if they know what says ch. That's a trick, okay? You have to know these tricks for your kids to advance. Well, your kids need to know them. If your kids aren't being taught them and or they don't know them and they should know them, that's when the Black Belt Reading Program can really help you. So if you want to get help teaching your kids to read and write, if you want all this kind of thing to be, explained step by step and you want to work through it, well, look up the Black Belt Reading Program because I go through all the tricks. It starts with letters and sounds, moves into reading words, CVC words and VC words, and then gets into blends, beginning blends, ending blends, and then gets into all the tricks your kids really need to know to read and write. So if you need help with that, look it up. I'll leave it in the description. You can click a link there to find it. But basically, when you're working with them on spelling, remember the tips, okay? They forgot a letter. It's not the end of the world. Keep it positive. First thing you should say is, great try, you're so close, right? Like make it fun, make it light, praise them for their willingness to try. Then go, let's see if you can fix it. It should be bench. What does yours say? See what theirs says. Betch, betch. Uh-oh, how would you make betch turn into bench? And help them. And if they're not getting it, if they're like, I don't know, then point. Bench. What are we missing? By that time, most kids will be like, oh, we need, an N. But if they're not seeing that, get rid of the CH and go, okay, this part's right, that part's right. Now, but listen really carefully. And just kind of hold that until they hear it. Until they can say N. Yes, so that's ben. Now, how would you make it say bench? If they haven't done CH yet, they're not going to know what makes that sound. So then you can tell them, oh, that's C playing with H. When C and H are together, they love to play train. See C's train arms? They go cha, 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 cha. So that can help them remember it because kids love stories. So the more you can tell them fun stories to remember these crazy letter combinations, the faster they're probably going to remember them. And keep them straight because later they have like SH, right? They have TH, and it gets confusing for kids with memory issues which one's which. But if they know train arms are saying cha, 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 and the S and the H say shh, there's a snake. And they know T and the H are pointing, the train is coming. Well, it's a lot easier to remember which one's which. So just try to get in the mind of your little kid. You know, when you're working with them, this is harder than you think it is, right? Because you already know how to spell these words. It's easy for you. But somebody new to this world and new to English, you know, they haven't been alive all that long, haven't been speaking English all that long, they haven't been able to read yet, so they don't have the visual recognition yet. They're just relying on how they hear it. So fix the hearing to fix the spelling. Be kind and patient and loving as you do it. As I'm telling you, we love our kids, but it's easy to just get frustrated, or maybe you're just worried they're not going to get it, so you bristle up a little bit and they feed off that and they get nervous and then they don't want to work with you. So I hear all the time, oh, my kid doesn't want to work with me. You know, I'm mom or I'm dad or whatever. Well, a lot of times the reason they don't want to work with you is because they love you so much, but you're making them nervous by your reactions. And so you want to learn to just be really happy and really supportive and try to look for why are they missing that N? Well, it's because it's so quiet. They can't hear it. So help them hear it. Be helpful, right? Just like when they were learning to walk, you grabbed their hands and help them. You didn't just let them fall all the time. Or maybe you did, but it's nice to help them if they need it. So if they need help, you don't want to give them the answer. You don't want to just say, oh, you need an N there. You want to help fix their hearing so they can be independently doing it as soon as possible. So again, guys, if you need help teaching your kids to read and write, that's what I do, okay? I've been tutoring kids for decades now. I taught in the classroom before that. And now I've made a program to help you help your kids at home. So you can either get in touch with me for tutoring services, or if you want to tackle it on your own, which I often don't have any room for new tutoring students, so that's why I made this program, you can use the Black Belt Reading Program. It has videos of me teaching all the tricks. It has packets for you to go through with your child to make sure they get the reps they need to get this stuff down. It has everything you need to teach your child to read and write. So it took me years to create, and if you need something to teach your beginning reader, writer to read and write, look that up. You can find it at kidscanreadandwrite.com or at kidscanonlineacademy.com. And I'll put it in the description so you can look there if you need help. But it is a great resource for you. You can always look back on it. If you don't know how to help your kids, get some help. Get some tutoring, get the Black Belt Reading Program, whatever you need to do. But help them sooner rather than later. This is not stuff that just magically happens. If your child is struggling, whether they're learning it in school or maybe school isn't teaching them the way they need to learn, you've got to step in and help them, or you're going to have a really unhappy kid soon. Because kids who struggle tend to get a lot of anxiety. They tend to hate going to school, have a lot of like health issues because it makes them so nervous. that they get stomach aches or maybe they get sick a lot. Like, we want to relax the kids. We want them to have a good experience. And we don't want them to lose their confidence. So if you need help, look up the Black Belt Reading Program. But anyway, I hope this helped you with this. So watch out for that. If you see N's missing, they're often quiet. L's will be missing a lot of times too before a second blended letter. That's because they're just really hard to hear. So remember, first thing, praise effort. Second thing, help your child hear what they wrote. Third thing, help your child hear what they need to write to spell it better. Fourth thing, praise again, read the new word, have a good time with your kids. And make sure they know what the word even means when they're spelling it. So, hope this helps you guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget to give that old thumbs up and share it if you know somebody else who's struggling. And let me know what else I can help you with. Have a great day and keep up the good fight.